All right, we are on air. Happy New Year, everybody. This is the first Backdrop meeting of 2018, so that's kind of exciting. This meeting is to check in on design tasks that we're currently working on for Backdrop. There's a couple new things that we launched on the Backdrop main website since our last meeting. We have the new footer, the new header, drop-down menus. Since the last meeting, I added a hover state and an active state to the menu links on backdropcms.org. I'm going to assume, if nobody complains about it, that this is good to go, and I will close the issue on GitHub. But if there are any designers out there who think that it could be improved, I am not a designer. I'm open to feedback. So feel free to weigh in on that issue, which is issue number 305 in the Backdrop Ops group, backdropcms.org issue queue. There's a couple things we're working on adding to backdropcms.org. I'm hoping we'll be able to get a little bit closer to the new homepage design for the release of Backdrop 1.9. But obviously we're focused on 1.9 first, so we're kind of inching towards getting that new design up. There's a pull request in the queue for the try out Backdrop page, which I'll have another look at today. I keep meaning to get that merged, but haven't gotten there yet. On the forum site, which is also new and exciting to us, since the last meeting, I pushed the same menu changes, I think. So there should be hover states and active states on those links as well. I'll double check that. It doesn't look like they're there. Maybe it's not pushed yet. And on each forum conversation, I added some changes to the comment styles, the flag links in particular, about whether you're marking something as useful or an accepted answer or spam. And I tried to make the designs of the forum site a little more in line with the aesthetic of the main site. So hopefully I didn't, hopefully I didn't get too far off brand with those, but I was just kind of fiddling with it and made a few adjustments. So again, if anyone's using the forum and if you're a designer and you have an eye for these kind of things and there's something that bothers you or something that would be pretty easy to fix, we're definitely open to improvements anywhere you see anything. So the issue for forum links is number 18 in the Backdrop Ops group, the forum issue queue. And I'm going to go ahead and close that one if nobody has any urgent complaints. Obviously, if something comes up later, we will definitely open a new issue and address that. But just because that's new, I thought I would point it out and see if we can get any feedback. Nate, it looks like you had a question about active state. So there should be an active state on the top level links, but I'm not sure sub-menu items have an active state. If you have any recommendations of what we should do to indicate active, I can add that. I just don't have that inspiration. I don't know if an underline makes sense on sub-menu links. So
yeah, it looks yeah, like right now it looks like the active state is the same as the hover state for the menu items that are in the top level. And then just when you're in a sub item, the top level doesn't have the indicator.
Oh, so the top level needs to retain its active state when we're on a sub link.
Yep.
Okay. What about the one, like right now, should the release cycle tab be look different too? Like when you have the drop down open, should the sub link?
Probably.
Should it just be that way where it's already that color, or should it be different?
I think using the same as the hover is simple. If you're looking to just go forward without any design input, then I would say that's better than nothing.
Okay, I'll do that.
But again, like I feel like I just want to put the plea out there. But if we had designs for this sort of thing, then we would do what the designer told us to do. Wouldn't that be great if you guys, someone out there, had somebody to do work that you just had to tell us what to do, and then they do it for you. That's us. We'll do it. We just need
developers love having pretty pictures. Okay. Yeah, that's a good thing. Backdrop is trying to, in general, be a little bit more designer friendly than Drupal had been in the past. We're looking at WordPress, which is a wonderful designer friendly tool that has a lot of designers just kind of get into it and make what they want. And I think part of making Backdrop attractive to designers means that our primary website needs to be attractive as well. And so if we have any designers that are, inspired to help us improve it, joining these meetings is a great way to get your voice heard. We're obviously eager for feedback. So if you have any time, just, 5 to 10 minutes a week, jumping in and being like, here's my opinion on your drop-down menus, or here's what you should do when you're, left alignment problems, or whatever it is. We definitely want more designers involved in Backdrop. You do not have to be a coder. We value your feedback probably more than we have a lot of coders in the midst, and we need you more than we need more coders. So I would definitely encourage anyone who's interested in helping with design to jump in.
Are these those buttons that you were talking about, Jen?
Yes.
You just kind of styled them as thought you saw fit? Yeah,
so I first made them different colors, and then I thought they looked kind of funny by themselves, and then I gave them rounded corners, and then I was like, oh, they look kind of like buttons, and then I gave them a drop shadow. So this is Jen designing, which is not actually designing, it's just kind of sticking CSS on them and seeing if it looks better or worse. So I got the rounded corners from our general aesthetic on backdropcms.org. I used the comment styling, so that block at the top was something that we'd used there before. I put the round photos for people, so if you go to a page where somebody has a picture, you see their smiling face in a circle. But yeah, I think if you go to, Screencast has Lauren's picture there. So this is just styles I copied from the other site. And then the links there, I chose the colors red-ish or pink in this case for whether it's spam or abusive. That same thing is true for whether it's a comment or the forum post itself. The helpful button that will feed into the most helpful comments list, which will appear at the top. And if you actually authored a topic, there's also a blue link there that will mark an answer as the accepted answer, and that'll also appear at the top in blue as accepted answer. So I tried to kind of make the links match what they were doing in the page, but I think it's fine, but I think that if we had a designer, actually design those things, they could be better.
Yeah, it actually, it's better than, I don't want to say it's better than nothing, because it's a lot better than just nothing. It's better than not being styled. Like the separation, like functionality wise, it separates the functionality out, which is awesome. So great job putting this together the way it is. It's way, way more functional than it all just being, the functionality just like splatted on the page. So
yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. Is I was trying to make it usable, but because I'm not a designer, like my developer mind being like blue button for blue box sometimes doesn't lend itself to looking pretty when I'm done with it. So we'll see. I think it's a good start. And if somebody wants to like redo it later, that's totally fine.
Yep. At least now we have the content and the functionality in place so that you'd at least know what you're working with as far as what elements need to be placed and styled.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yay. And I also love coming back every weekend, poking around in the forum and seeing that people are using it. It's fantastic. And I also actually really like people asking questions that should be issues, because I feel like when somebody finds something that is a bug, if you're new, you're not sure if it's a bug or if you're doing something wrong, right? Whereas if you're an expert, you're just like, oh, well, let me go report this problem with the system. But if you're a new person, you're like, am I doing it wrong? And so having a place, like a safe place for people to ask if they're doing it right or not is great, especially when there's somebody else to say, you're doing everything right. You know, let's create an issue in the issue queue. I think will also help get people more comfortable with using the issue queue. So it's a great first place for people to talk to each other. So I'm so glad we have this. I again want to emphasize how much I appreciate Dr. Wilmot taking an entire month to just crank on getting all of the last things we needed done on the forum. I am so happy to see people using it.
I think this is really funny. Sorry, I'm just getting my own kicks out of this. So Drop is being a user, responding back to things, but then there's this Simone 960 who is also a dragon, but it's like Pete's Magic Dragon.
Dragons like the forum too.
Pretty funny. All right, sorry. Let's get back on track. Where are we with the agenda?
Okay, so the agenda was backedupcms.org and forum, which we've gotten done. Next is backed up the product. So we did a code freeze on Monday where we got in, squeaked in a few last new features. And now we have 2 weeks of testing Backdrop 1.9 and fixing a lot of minor things. And this is a great time right now for designers to get involved and help make a change, because in the last few weeks, we aren't going to be doing any heavy development, which means all of our developers are going to be available theoretically to help fix aesthetic changes or usability improvements or text changes or anything that we think will make the product better without introducing major pieces of functionality. So between now and January 15th is a great time to find something that might be visually bothering you and get it fixed. So if you have any thoughts or feedback on what needs to get done in Backdrop, you're welcome to create issues in the Backdrop issues issue queue. Or if you don't have any inspiration but you want to see what we need help with, there's a tag in issue queue called audience design, which is in the sidebar if you go to any issue in the issue queue, and you can see issues that anyone else has created that may be design related. Some of those need actual design. Some of them are really complicated and need actual designs for us to build. Other ones are just little design problems that people have found that may need CSS changes or just quick fixes to various things that might make Backdrop better. That is all we have on the agenda for now. There are no particular issues that we've highlighted as definitely needing to get them done for 1.9. So that would mean that if you are interested in working on design issues, anything you can grab and work on is fair game. If you add a pull request, I would recommend that you also add the tag for the next release, which would be 1.8.2. And that way we'll be able to review that pull request. If it doesn't end up on one of those point release milestones, we might miss it. And I'll try and keep an eye on that issue queue, but there's no guarantee that we'll find everything. So I would just encourage people to use the tags. If you don't have access to use the tags, you can ask Imgur. Sometimes we have some problems with our automatic permission granting machine. Doesn't always automatically grant permissions. Our Dragonbot. But we would definitely love to see more design improvements the next 2 weeks too. Anything else you want to add, Nate?
Nope, I don't think so.
All right, well, that's our update for today. Next week we have an outreach meeting, but we might not actually have that meeting depending on how crazy things are before release. But the next design meeting, which is in 2 weeks, will definitely carrying on as planned. So we will see you guys in 2 weeks, if not before.
All right, bye.
Thanks for watching.